If all goes according to plan, this video should get uploaded on the 28th of September, where 7 years ago today I started the London Loop, a 150-mile orbital path around London that begins in Erith. The following year, on the same exact day, I started the Capital Ring, a very similar orbital path, 78 miles in length. And every year since around this date, I've tended to do a walk that has reflected that and intersected either the Capital Ring or London Loop. Last year's one, which is on the channel from Kidbrooke to Woolwich, did intersect the first section of the Capital Ring, so I thought this year it's only fair if I do a walk that intersects the first section of the London Loop. I start at Albany Park, one of only 3 remaining stations in London I've not used. The other 2 are Castlebar Park and Elmstead Woods, by the way. This is the newest station on the line, opening in 1935 to support the expanding suburbs. And I like how it is built around the station here. There's a nice lead up with a parade of shops. Despite being in the middle of the suburbs, there is a historic plot of woodland here known as Bexley Woods, of which the River Shuttle passes through. This is a relatively unknown South London river. I remember crossing it on the bus once, not knowing it existed, and then looking at the map to see where it ran. I discovered that there is a walking route you can take alongside it, which I did do about 4 years ago now, I think. Bexley Woods was a highlight of the Shuttle Riverway, so it was nice to return there after quite some time. At this point though, still a very natural course of the River Shuttle, but it is a little bit more urban as it's passing alongside a street full of houses. Unfortunately, the tranquility of the River Shuttle has come to an end as I have to pass over the busy A2 road, the East Rochester way. Luckily, it's much nicer on the other side in a place called the Warren. I've climbed a little hill, wondered if maybe I'd get a bit of a viewpoint, and not really, just looking down towards the houses. Nice enough though. Oh, well, that tree has fallen down. I didn't need to climb the Warren to get a viewpoint, I just needed to come here. I don't even know what this place is called. The road down there is Gravel Hill, so I guess I'll just call it that. Descending the hill brings me to Hall Place, where finally I'm about to intersect the London Loop footpath. It's in Hall Place and Gardens where you find the River Cray, which the River Shuttle is a tributary of. Now, London Loop Section 1 heads along the River Thames until it meets its confluence with the River Cray, before then following the river pretty much the majority of that section all the way down to Bexley. And apart from the very beginning at Erith beside the Thames, I would say that Hall Place and Gardens was the highlight of that first walk. So again, it's nice to come back here. I don't recall seeing this rock garden here, or the miniature railway. I don't know if this is new or I've just not been to this spot before. I don't think I have actually. There's a specific spot I remember which I haven't seen yet. So this is the bit I actually remember, that outdoor gym over there and the path alongside the River Cray. So London Loop actually doesn't quite go up to Hall Place, so no wonder I didn't recognise parts of it. Wish I started recording earlier. It's taken until now to get my first London Loop sign. There's also one if you're following the River Cray. We're coming off this in a moment though. I've surprisingly come across some historic lampposts, as this sign claims. It looks like there's an old theatre. I'm guessing that's what this place has turned into now. I didn't know this was here, I don't remember this. So the London Loop heads in that direction towards Crayford, but I remember passing by Shenstone Park here, and I was intrigued about visiting it, but I've never done so. This is 7 years into making this. On the other side of Shenstone Park lies a very old gas holder. This is another spot I remember passing on the bus once and wanting to come back to take a closer look, but it's just taken many years to do so. Glad it's still here after all that time. Oh, there is a second one in here, but that's in the process of being torn down. On the opposite side of the gas holders you have another huge green space known as Martin's Grove Park. These have been quite pleasant to walk through. I've enjoyed these. And then all of a sudden it becomes very busy as I enter Bexleyheath. But I've always quite liked it because it's been pedestrianised here since I think the 1990s. At the heart of the town centre you'll find this clock tower, which was constructed for King George V's coronation. But around 100 years later, a bust of Queen Elizabeth II was added to celebrate her Diamond Jubilee. I like Bexleyheath, even though there's not really a heath there anymore. Perhaps there was back in the days that the Romans built their Watling Street through here, but there are still patches of greenery around. I've just crossed Russell Park, and now I'm in Bursted Woods. What I've always found odd about Bexleyheath though is that their station is quite a considerable distance away from the town centre. And another station that's a similar distance away is Barnhurst, which I visited in a video back in the winter where I was trying to use as many stations in southeast London that I'd never been to, which has helped me to get up to only having 3 stations left in London to use now, or 2. I've done Albany Park today. But in the half an hour wait at Barnhurst station that I had until the next train, I came up to have a little look at Bursted Woods, and I teased that I might be returning here one day around the 28th of September. This is that walk. I didn't come up to the point though where the woods opens out onto some meadows. You know, I knew I could smell bread. I had no idea that there was a Hovis factory close to Erith. I've got another green space now in the form of Northumberland Heath Recreation Ground. It's unusually quiet in here. I'm starting to get a lot of references now to the beginning of the London Loop at Erith, as the road cuts straight through Erith Cemetery. There's an old and new side on either side of the road. One dates from 1893, the other from 1940. Not that new, the new side really. And what I think is actually my last green space of the day is Frank's Park, which has an amazing view overlooking a huge industrial area that is right beside the River Thames. This park is named after a Frank Beadle who donated money to the council so that they can purchase the land in 1920, as it once would have belonged to a Belvedere manor house. I did also notice on a sign as I was entering that there was former air raid shelters here. There was also a former quarry, former bandstand. That's all gone. Now, funnily enough, I did actually pass through here once before on the 2020 London Loop anniversary walk, where I did a section of the Green Chain walk. This is a similar long distance footpath, but just in southeast London. A lot of it does follow the capital ring, so I never did it in full myself, but I did do a section of it out to Erith because it is a unique bit through many open green spaces like Lesnes. Is it Lesnes Abbey? Lene Abbey? It's basically Abbey Wood. The wood at the end of the Elizabeth line. I thought the view from here was overlooking Crossness pumping station, but it's not. It's whatever that power station is behind me. And as I'm nearing Erith, this does mean that I'm nearing the end of the walk, because I'm going to end where I started the London Loop for this London Loop anniversary walk. Well, here we go. This is the mighty River Thames, though its tide is out right now. Looking back towards the industry we saw in Frank's Park. I love the view of the Thames from Erith, especially towards the Dartford crossing over there. And I think we know where this walk is going to end. So in all the times I've come to Erith, something I've not come to have a look at before in Nordenfelt Road here is a little bit of old railway. This would have served quarries and obviously the docks around the Thames. In fact, I even saw an old quarry that's currently being redeveloped close to Erith from on top of a hill earlier. Back by the Thames, and because it's low tide, you can see numerous ubiquitous shopping trolleys, because of course you always get shopping trolleys in rivers. Bikes are another one you'll usually find. Shopping baskets are a little bit more uncommon. You can tell that this riverside garden promenade bit is all new as well, because the last time I was in Erith they were doing up this area. Now that's 13, 14, 15. You can see a wheel poking out over there, that's 16. And on this side, try not to lean too much over, I can see another 2. That's 18 shopping trolleys I've seen, I'm not even kidding. So along with the old railway line to the quarry, another great example of that in Erith is at the end of its pier, where you can see a former turntable and some buffers. But hang on, where's the hut? The hut's gone. Seems like it suffered a fire. There's fences and police tape still there. I can't believe it's gone. Must have happened recently. All the rubble is still here. It's a shame. Hang on, let me just go around. Oh yeah, no, I'm not propping my phone up against that. I was going to, because that's what I've done before to end my last video here at Erith. I've got here at the perfect time as well, just as it's getting dark. Coming to Erith to start the London Loop 7 years ago was a very magical experience. I'd never gotten a chance to really explore Erith before, so I wanted to do that before I set off on my walk that day. And by doing so, I came onto Erith Pier. And I know I mentioned how Hall Place was a highlight of that first section. Well, Erith Pier absolutely clears that. This was such a fantastic location that I ended up coming here so many more times over the years, including at night time to watch the sunrise. Done that quite a few times actually. And it remains to this day as one of my favourite locations in all of London. I can't believe the hut is gone. That's a real shame. It's nice to end a walk here pretty much exactly 7 years on from when I first started a walk here. I love Erith. Thanks for watching today's video. That was an enjoyable walk in southeast London, always a part of London I enjoy doing walks through. Subscribe so you don't miss next year's London Loop anniversary walk. Oh, and by the way, final shopping trolley count is 25. Yes, 25.